to contest the Makueni Senate by-election. That is the latest of the many intrigues that have surrounded the by-election that is slated for the 26th of this month. He says even though he has joined the race late, he's confident of a win. We'll be focusing on that story tonight, as well as remembering one of Kenya's best satirical writers who died this week 10 years ago, Wahome Mutai. This are among the stories we have lined up for you, but first the highlights.
I, the returning officer for Makueni County, do hereby certify that Mutula Kilonzo Jr., ID number 13705756, is hereby validly nominated for the county senate election.
Pitch to vie, IEBC clears Mutula Kilonzo Jr. for Makueni by-election.
Let us change our law so that if a person, like in democratic states, who votes against their party is deemed to have defected.
Rooting for Mutula Jr. called troops to Makueni to garner support for their candidate. Counting the losses, houses demolished to pave way for southern bypass in Langata.
Sasa mama yosema leo ushasafishwa kila kitu hakuna shida. Ndio sasa kawa kumbe na mimba ya kudia ndani kwa ndani.
And in our Survivor series tonight, raped and impregnated, but her fighting spirit lives on. Many thanks for joining us. I'm Linda Ogutu. We start in Makueni tonight, where Mutula Kilonzo Jr. was this morning cleared by the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission to contest the Makueni Senate by-election set for the 26th. The Wiper candidate presented his papers to the returning officer in Wote Town and remained confident that he will clinch the seat that was left vacant by his late father. Sophia Wanuna has the details.
Out Kathy Kilonzo, in Mutula Kilonzo Jr. In a twist of events that saw his sister barred from contesting the Makueni Senate seat, Mutula Kilonzo Jr. was Saturday morning taken through the clearance process by Makueni County returning officer Salad Guracha Boru in Watertown. Documents submitted by Mutula Jr. included his national ID, voter registration card, Wiper nomination certificate, and integrity declaration form, among other documents. And after checking his documentation, the son of the late Mutula Kilonzo was given the green light.
I, the returning officer for Makueni County, do hereby certify that Mutula Kilonzo Jr., ID number 13705756, is hereby validly nominated for the county senate election in Makueni County today, 20th July 2013.
Mutula Jr. exuded confidence of clinching the seat despite his late entry into the race.
I've accepted the nomination, the certificate is here, and I want to plead with all of you to turn up in large numbers to vote for me on Friday. The strategy is and has been that the party has been campaigning throughout, and therefore what I am doing is joining the train. And other than my poster, this campaign has been going on for a long time.
His documents show that he registered as a voter in Uuma Primary School in Boni constituency, where he also voted during the March 4th general election.
So we are ready to face our challenges in a very open, democratic way.
Wiper's Mutula Jr. will now face off with NAK Kenya's Philip Kaloki, Labour Party of Kenya Jane Kitundu, Abanas Katumo, an independent candidate, and Peaks Harun Mwau on the July 26th by-election. Sophia Wanuna, KTN.
And with just a week to popularize himself, the kin to the late Mutula Kilonzo hit the campaign trail in earnest immediately after his clearance. Backed by a contingent of CORD heavyweights, Mutula Kilonzo Jr. graced his first public rally that hammered the IEBC over its credibility. And as KTN Samugina now reports, one of the Kilonzos is out of the Makueni Senate race. But with the unveiling of Mutula Jr., CORD's resolve to recapture the seat is firmly back on track.
Political embers flared at the Mutula Kilonzo Jr. campaign launch moments after receiving his nomination certificate. Heavy political undertones punctuated the rally, with the CORD coalition hitting hard at the IEBC's underbelly, that is its credibility.
We cannot go to another election with the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission. We must have a new commission that knows how to count votes.
Hiyo tume ya uchaguzi inanuka. Kwa hivyo tulisema mpaka isafishwe.
We cannot complain continuously about this IEBC because I am going to say this to members of Parliament, Daniel Manzo and all of you. The Elections Act is weak. We need to amend it so that we do not change the forest and put different monkeys.
The coalition blasted the Electoral Commission of conniving with the Jubilee Alliance to lock out Wiper Party's favorite candidate, Kathy Kilonzo, from the 26th of July Makueni by-election. Kathy was projected as a victim of persecution.
Kathy is being persecuted because she said hawezi kufanya kazi na maadui wa baba yake. She cannot work with her father's political enemies. From that point, they decided she will not be allowed to contest, come rain or shower.
Liona kesi wakatetemeka, wakaenda sema huyu hashindiki.
But the opposition coalition promised to recapture the seat despite the machination it claims was staged by the Jubilee Alliance.
Kwa hivyo mimi namuombea Junior kura, usipomwona tena ujue kura ni ya nani. Sisi tumekuja, hatutoki hapa Makueni mpaka turudi Nairobi na Junior.
Wiper sent a stern warning to its leaders who have jumped ship into supporting the ruling alliance with a threat of excommunication.
Uchaguzi ukikwisha, kamati kuu itaketi na wale wote ambao hawafuati nyayo zetu tutawashunja na tutawarudisha hapa ili mchague watu wengine.
Let us change our law so that if a person, like in democratic states, who votes against their party is deemed to have defected, and at that point that person is told go back and seek a fresh mandate.
It was also an opportunity for CORD to rate the Jubilee government's first 100 days in office as the official opposition.
Wanasema tunataka kusambaratisha serikali yao. Serikali yao imesambaratika na hakuna haja kuingilia, ni kuomba Mungu tu tufike safarini. Wamemaliza siku 100 juzi. Baada siku 100 umeona serikali wewe? Umeona serikali wewe? Umenusa hata rufu yake.
The Wiper Party has fully plunged itself back into the Makueni Senate race with the launch of Mutula Kilonzo Jr.'s campaign, but with a stinging message to its adversaries with the promise of handing them defeat to recapture the Makueni Senate seat. Samugina, KTN, Wote, Makueni County.
And still on matters touching on the Makueni by-election, and the police are on high alert to arrest individuals who are supposedly planning to disrupt the Makueni senatorial by-election slated for Friday. The Kenya Police Service spokesman Masood Mwenye says enough security personnel have been deployed in Makueni to ensure peace prevails before, during and after the mini-poll. Police have also warned that they will arrest and charge any politician who will spread hate speech while campaigning in Makueni.
Mikakati ile ambayo tumeweka ni kuhakikisha kwamba kwanza tunaondoa hofu kwa wananchi, kwa sababu tayari kuna hali ya eti kule nyanjani, na ni jambo ambalo sisi kama wanausalama na pia kwa niaba ya serikali tusingependa liwepo. Kwa hivyo tayari tushawaambia wananchi waondoe hofu, na siku itakapowadia waende wakapige kura bila wasiwasi wote. Lakini mbali na hiyo, maafisa zaidi pia ambao hasa ni wa kuangalia labda utovu ama makosa yanayoambatana na upigaji kura. Utakumbuka kwamba wakati kura zilipowadia tulipea maafisa fulani mafunzo maalum ya kukabiliana ama kushughulikia makosa yanayoambatana na upigaji kura. Kwa hivyo maafisa hawa tayari tushawatuma kule kwa matayarisho.
Right, from efforts to gain entry into the 11th Parliament to an assessment of the performance of that Parliament. In our ongoing series of the Jubilee government's 100 days audit, we take a look at the legislature. What has the 11th Parliament been able to achieve in the first 100 days? Here's KTN's Yvonne Okwara with the highlights.
All right, thank you very much. Now, let's take a look at some of the bills that have made it through Parliament in the last 100 days. And we'll start off with those that were inherited from the 10th Parliament, obviously with the Marriage Bill 2013. Now, of course, this seeks to consolidate the 7 laws on marriage, which were all separate in the law and have now been amalgamated in this bill. And it also recognizes polygamy. It defines marriage as a voluntary union between a man and a woman in either a monogamous or a polygamous union, and of course has also talked about the payment of a bride price. Now, one of the controversial issues about the Marriage Bill 2013 is that jilted partners can now sue for broken promises. Apparently, in Section 74, it says that once you make a promise to marry another person, even though it is not legally binding, but those who feel they have suffered as a result of that broken promise can go to court and seek compensation. Of course, the issue with that would be proving that a promise was indeed made. And here's another one talking about payment of a dowry, bride price that is optional, and if and when that can be done, it will be a token to perhaps remove the issue of money being a major factor in marriages in the country today. A lot of controversy with this one. We will see whether it will be watered down as it goes through the various readings in the House. Let's move on to another one, and this one was key, and the 10th Parliament was unable to pass this through just before the last election, and that's the Campaign Financing Bill. Now, it seeks to fix the amount of money a politician can use in the election. Of course, the whole aim of this is to prevent money having an impact on the outcome of any election, and it also regulates the source of campaign money. Now, one of the important things it does is it stops business people and special interest groups from sponsoring any politician to Parliament, and has also prescribed some pretty harsh penalties for those that go against it. And here are some of them. Apparently, politicians who use public resources, including official vehicles, could face a 2-year jail term or a fine of 2 million shillings. And for those who fail to disclose funds or donations made to their campaign kitty, could be disqualified from participating in that election. This has also been tabled in Parliament on the same day that the marriage bill was tabled in Parliament as well. Let's take a look at another controversial one that was also inherited from the 10th Parliament, and that is the VAT bill. And you know this by now. It seeks to raise about 10 billion shillings and add that to KRA's yearly collection. And of course, according to Henry Rotich, the Cabinet Secretary in Finance, he says putting some of these goods and these essential items like food and sanitary towels and cooking gas, including computer hardware and software, this will help to raise the 10 billion shillings that they're looking for. But his statement was that this bill will simplify, modernize and reduce the cost of compliance in the country. We do know that the Jubilee members of Parliament have backtracked on some of these, and they've removed Unga and put it back on that list of zero-rated items. Let's now take a look at some other bills. And this one is one that has been passed, and I think this would be, of course, what is very, very good for the Parliament that they've been able to pass, and that is the Division of Revenue Bill. In the last 100 days, out of everything that's been in Parliament, this is the one they've been able to pass. It was assented into law by the President in June, and this split Parliament into two. The Senate feeling like they were sidelined in the process. They had made amendments to that, seeking to have 258 billion shillings taken to the counties. The members of National Assembly ignored those amendments, and the President was then, as he said at the time, compelled into signing that into law. And of course, you know, it governs the decision of the division of revenue between the national and the county government. Let's move on to another one that is also contentious, and you've seen this one in the press lately, and it's the National Police Service Amendment Bill 2013. You know this by now. It's proposing to reduce the recruitment and redeployment and disciplinary powers of the National Police Service Commission and give those powers over to the Inspector General. What is the state of this bill at the moment? Well, it is still undergoing some review and some input from various stakeholders. This is what has been able to happen in the last 100 days as far as what happens in Parliament. Back to you.
Jubilee government's 100 days audit, what the 11th Parliament has been able to achieve in the first 100 days. Yvonne Okora, thank you so much for that. Now let's move on to other stories of the day. In property, worth millions of shillings has been lost as bulldozers moved in to demolish buildings in Langata's Uzima Gardens estate to pave way for the Southern Bypass. The buildings, consisting of homes and a church, are said to be standing on a road reserve earmarked for the construction of the bypass. And as Catherine Omonto reports, property owners are crying foul amid claims that they were not given warning.
It was a race against time. Looters and building owners alike trying to salvage wood, iron and glass before the bulldozers rendered them worthless. The Saturday demolition ordered by the Ministry of Transport caught everyone by surprise.
Asa leo usiku saa 12 baadhi ya wale wanaishi kwa nyumba yangu wananipigia kuna tinga imekuja na bomoa. Mimi nilishangaa tinga imetoka wapi na ni watu gani? In the first place, ukienda kwa roads ama highway wote wanakuambia wao wakufanya marking. Sasa wakati unaenda kwao huwezi jua ni nani is responsible.
While roadworks are going on smoothly in other parts of Nairobi, construction of the southern bypass between Mombasa Road and Langata Road has stalled over the past 2 years. Some Nairobi residents have built on the road reserve and simply don't want to move. The other alternative was to construct the road on the periphery of the national park, a suggestion the Kenya Wildlife Service will hear nothing of. It seems the government has taken its final stand and will forge on with the original construction plan.
Kwenda kupinga ubomoaji huu because kama documents tuko nazo kuonyesha we own the properties, our church owns the property of the Christian Revival Church, tunaweza simama na tupinge.
To avoid such incidences, residents have been asked to counter-check information with the City Council and the Ministry of Lands before purchasing land that could be earmarked for future developments. The southern bypass will run from Mombasa Road all the way to Kikuyu. Catherine Omonto, KTN.
Thank you for staying with Saturday Night Live. We're taking a break, and just ahead. Raped and impregnated, but her fighting spirit lives on.